So, Matt and I are in a band together. We've been in a band for 14 years?
14 years.
Wow.
Almost a decade and a half.
That's like 807 units of time.
That's pretty, yeah, almost.
Almost. Intro time. We're going to talk about the band and stuff. And today, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and that's because we got a comment asking us about it.
Yeah.
We're going to read a little bit about it.
So, we got a comment from Knoichnerd.
Yeah. And
he said, I'd like to hear about the logistics of being in a band, blah blah blah, other words that you can read if you want to. And then at the end, how do you all do it, especially with all the other stuff you all have going on?
Well, we didn't always have all this stuff going on.
No. Believe it or not, throughout my 20s, I was probably a deadbeat, lazy jerk. And now I'm just a jerk.
You liked your free time.
Well, yeah. Well, I waited tables. But, yeah, I mean, we met in college.
Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of free time in college.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't study. Well, we did, but we were
communication arts majors.
Yeah, like what do you do for that? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You go, you watch movies, you draw a picture of.
Yeah, every exam was like, did you watch the movie?
Yeah.
And you either say yes or no.
Yeah, and then you pass.
Yeah, it didn't matter what you said.
And then you give the college all your money, and then you pass.
Yeah.
And then you wait tables throughout your 20s. Yeah. Well, I did. I don't know what you did.
We had a lot of free time. Mm-hmm. We lived together.
Yes, we did live together for all of our time in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah. And then we moved to Chicago, and some of us we lived together in separate houses. So like two people live together here, two people live together over here. And we stood at a slant like this.
Yeah,
that's how we stood in our house.
Yeah, we stood like little V's.
And when we first moved to Chicago, we really gave the band a real college try.
Gave it the college try.
After leaving college.
College try.
We practiced like 3 times a week, and we wrote the album Cholera, which that was a long process. We a lot of fighting too, arguing over songs and stuff.
Yeah.
How did we do it? Why did we stay together?
Well, I don't know. I think because we were pretty good friends, even though we fought. We hung out a lot. And
our band's called Driftless Pony Club, by the way, in case you cared to know.
Yeah, so I don't think the fighting mattered so much just because we were friends. So, I mean, like, if you're in a band and you fight with people and you're not really, like, friends with them, it's real easy to, like, you're like, I'm not going to deal with
And
these
if you're
people.
a career musician, if that's your job, if that's what you do for a living, if you're fighting at your job, you probably will leave. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, you'd go find a different job.
This was our thing we did. We wanted it to be our job, but we actually had jobs. This was the thing we did outside of work. And being a musician, if you want to do that, you expect to be poor a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I think we've been around for a long time. We've known a lot of bands. Most of our friends are in bands. I mean, that's another thing that I think helps keep a band together. If like all your friends are in bands too.
We surrounded ourselves with the culture of musicians in Chicago, and that's basically what you do when you hang out. You go to shows, your friends' shows or your shows, and that's basically the only people who go to the shows are your friends. But that's kind of just your hobby. Like some people, I don't know, play on a softball team or play on a soccer team. Some people play video games. Some people watch movies, watch TV on their couch. We played music as our hobby. And but then we almost did kind of stop there for a while.
We did. I mean, we certainly slowed down because it can be tiring, especially at that point we've been doing the band for 6 or 7 years, and in that period of time we'd known a lot of bands who were good and they were gone. So many bands, like just
didn't matter if you were good. Like there's this whole thing called marketing that most musicians I don't think care about or are good at.
Yeah.
And don't want to put any energy in. They want to just make the music.
And I think there's a good reason behind that, because I think it does seem like it seems pretty
soul crushing.
Soul crushing and futile, because there are so many bands and there are so many bands like promoting themselves. It seems like you're just you're shouting into a shout
hole.
Bucket.
Shout bucket. Yes.
Yeah.
Like a bucket of
shouts.
The laundry detergent.
Like disembodied shouting, screaming voices.
Well, I shout into the detergent personally.
Well, whatever you do
when
for
I'm
stress
done,
relief.
I feel very cleansed because of detergent.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had something to say. Now I forgot because of my detergent joke.
Well, basically what I was going to say is that, like, because what this commenter was saying was that he or she was in a band and they only played one show and then they graduated and basically everybody split apart. They got married, got kids, and that is pretty typical. I think that's pretty much, maybe 75% of every band that is
I would say
created. 97% of every band created probably plays one show, maybe.
Yeah.
Lasts for a couple months.
People of our age, or maybe slightly younger, and then everyone older, didn't embrace the whole internet revolution as far as promoting themselves. I would say it's the.
It was coming in. It was happening sort of as we while we were in a band.
So a lot of people decided, well, being in a band just is never going to work. I'm going to go get married and have a real job.
Yeah, which is a really reasonable way
Reasonable
to think.
and probably the right choice for a lot of people. But around 6 or 7 years of being in a band, I decided to do Wheezy Waiter, and I really got into the online world myself, and then discovered how awesome it was and how it actually works.
Yeah,
and
tapped into it.
Tapped in.
Mainline.
It wasn't
internet.
It wasn't like, ooh, how do I market myself and become successful? I just wanted to make videos, but it also happened to gather a large audience that we could then promote the band or get the band started with.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of like we had an EP called Expert, which we made we had these songs that we were going to make into a full album, but then Nate was going to go to architecture school and we just thought we're not going to be writing any more songs, so we just made that EP and we were going to be kind of done.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
It was going to be done. But then we realized, well, we could have an audience now.
Yeah, we realized that there could be an audience.
Because a lot of people bought Expert, and then we thought, well, let's make another album.
Yeah.
And we did, and we toured, and it was awesome. So we made another album.
And I think that is actually kind of typical. Not necessarily the internet thing, but most bands, I think that became successful in some way were around for 10 years.
That's true. Before they had any success.
Yeah. And I think that's a pretty typical story. Although I don't feel like what we did seems like a typical band thing, I
think it's probably going to become more of a typical
maybe
band thing.
Yeah.
As the internet goes on, I think if you want to be successful as a band, you have to. The internet's a great thing because you can do everything yourself, but it also sucks because you have to do everything yourself. You have to. There's no record labels anymore. There are fewer record labels that will do this stuff for you because the internet, you can do everything that they could do for you yourself. Book the shows, promote yourself,
distributing the music.
Like MTV doesn't do videos, YouTube does music videos.
Yeah.
So you gotta make the video, or I guess you probably have to hire a production crew if you don't know how to make videos. Or figure it out yourself.
Yeah, make do with your limitations.
And the people who succeed, I think, are the people who are going to do more of that. Just market themselves more through the internet and network and stuff like that.
Yeah, but there's really no, I don't think there's a real answer to this question of how does a band, succeed or even
stay together.
Stay together. It's a lot of I think there's a lot of stubbornness in some ways.
You got to suffer through a lot of conflict if you're in a band, and we were just idiots, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe a certain unreasonable nature. Maybe not the most. Maybe not the brightest bulb.
Yeah, we were idiots. Speaking of being idiots, let's play a song.
Okay.
For the show. This is the song of the show. Being in a band, tour across the land, taking a stand.
Being a band.
Give us a hand. Yeah, that was today's song, brought to you by us.
Mm-hmm.
And today's episode was sponsored by us.
Band.
And Driftless Pony Club. Sponsored by Driftless Pony Club. Us. Two we're half of.
Check us out on iTunes, Bandcamp, MySpace, YouTube, and
GeoCities.
Reddit.
And Rever. And my mom's blog. She doesn't have a blog, so that's going to be hard for you to check out. Thank you.
She's going to start one.